Ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Breaking Bells. So the question today is, what does the Switch Lite mean for Animal Crossing New Horizons? And I think anybody that's an Animal Crossing fan knows immediately that there is some good things that come out of the factor for this thing coming out. For the Switch Lite to even get announced and to be coming out, I think this means a lot of big things for the game Animal Crossing New Horizons. And I just kind of wanted to go over some things that I pulled together and some things that I've noticed overall. First off, absolutely, we should be expecting special editions of a Switch Lite that is basically themed after Animal Crossing. I mean, Pokemon got one immediately, so we know that Pokemon is doing it. That to me just says like a franchise like Animal Crossing is definitely going to get it, right? There's no doubt in anybody's mind that this thing happens. I mean, we're looking at, as I reach over and I grab my 2DS XL, right? So I get this 2DS XL that I bought from Japan. I imported from Japan because it never came to the United States. But this is a console that came out in two territories. Absolutely had to have it. And I feel like with people that are going to step it up and buy these consoles, it makes total sense why Nintendo would definitely do this. There's been multiple special editions of Animal Crossing in the 2DS, 3DS family. We had the faceplate one that came to the United States, the original one that looked like polka dots and such, but it wasn't. It was like fruit and different things. Nintendo has always shown tribute to Animal Crossing. It has always been a franchise that has done very well, and with this console coming to the family, the Switch Lite coming to the Switch family, it more or less to me, it means a lot of things. Number one, let's just break it down. Number one, the fact that handheld versions of Animal Crossing have always sold through the roof. When you look statistically at the numbers, when you look at City Folk and you look at PG, population growing. So when we start with population growing, 2.3 million units were sold of that game. Very well. I mean, that's a great number. And these are combined numbers between Japan and the United States. But then you look at the DS version, right? Wild World that came out. 11.75 million copies of this game. And that, to me, just speaks volumes and tells me that, like, hey, handheld is the way to go. But maybe this is just because it's the first time in a handheld. Maybe we go back to a home console and the numbers are better. No, they aren't. When you look at City Folk that was on the Wii, 4.32 million. So it's 2 million more than what happened on the GameCube, but the number is still down. And then you get the 3DS version, and it's 11.94 million. These numbers are crazy numbers. And I know there was a time when people thought, because the Amiibo craze didn't take off with Animal Crossing, that people thought, like, hey, Animal Crossing is not a beloved franchise. You are wrong if you believe that. The fact of the matter is that when you have a game that sells 11.94 copies, that is huge. And you can't tell me that there's other franchises out there that wouldn't want to do the same thing. I mean, like, you're going to tell me that ARMS wouldn't want to have these type of numbers? I mean, you're looking at numbers that are massive for any game. Like, these are numbers, 11.94 are numbers that are rivaling right now what Mario Kart 8 is doing on the Switch. And we know that Mario Kart 8 is a juggernaut on the Switch. So to think that a game like Animal Crossing New Horizons has the potential to do huge numbers, and the fact that Nintendo is putting out a predominantly handheld console means the world to these numbers. Because when you think about it like this, Animal Crossing New Horizons is going to be stuck to a handheld, which in theory, you're only going to be able to play one town per Switch. But not only that, like, if you eliminated that belief system, people that love Animal Crossing don't like to share consoles or towns. You want to be able to design and do your town the way you want to do it, and you want to have the freedom to build paths where you want to build paths. And put flowers where you want to put flowers and all these different things that you can do with Animal Crossing. You take that and you couple it with the fact that, like, hey, I don't want to share my console, because if I'm sharing my console, that's less time that I could play my town. And that's what it all becomes. And when you have kids, husband and wives, that want to build their own towns, they're not going to want to share consoles with each other. They're going to want to keep them separated, and they're going to want to have their own everything. So with Nintendo coming in at a lower price range, $199, it makes it easier for families to just go, I'm just going to go buy that new console at $200. Like, it makes sense why people wouldn't go buy a secondary Switch, a third Switch, a fourth Switch, because it's of the Lite version and it's cheaper financially. It makes absolute sense. The other thing that I heard a lot of people talking about with the Switch Lite was like, well, you know, it doesn't connect to the TV. Okay, yeah, but you already have, in theory, if you're buying the Switch, you already have one in the house that has the capability to lock into the TV. What gives me high hopes here is the fact of, like, if I'm playing on the TV, maybe kids or mom or dad or whoever are off to the side playing as well. You can all share the experience of the town together. There's all kinds of games you could play together. There's all kinds of cool things you could do, meaning you're all in the house and you have the big TV and you have the different units and you're all in the same town. It's kind of cool, the opportunities that this creates. But the fact that now that you can buy multiple versions across the board is huge. Now, the other thing that bodes well for the Switch Lite is, and for Animal Crossing, is Amiibo support. This console will have Amiibo functionality, which is huge because they've already announced that there will be Amiibo functionality in Animal Crossing New Horizons. Now, they haven't told us what exactly that is, and that's fine. Nobody's really upset about that, I don't believe. But at the end of the day, when you look at it and you go like, okay, here we are, this is what we have, these are good things that we can actually now start to bring Amiibo back. I wonder if they're going to relaunch Amiibo. And let me back it up a second, because I talked about how Amiibo didn't do well, and people pointed to that and went like, hey man, that's a sign that people didn't like Animal Crossing, and Animal Crossing is a failed franchise. You're wrong. You're absolutely wrong. There's a couple of reasons why Animal Crossing Amiibo didn't do well. Number one, it was hooked to a game that was inferior, that nobody wanted. Imagine, if you will, if Metroid Prime Federation Force comes out, and by the way, we turn around, we slap Amiibo on that thing. People might not buy the Amiibo because they're so disappointed with the fact of, we're getting a game we don't want. We're getting a game that isn't a mainline game. So we're frustrated and we're not going to support this game. That's part of the problem. Then the fact of every single Amiibo that comes out is bland. It's just a character standing there. They did nothing special with him. Even Mr. Rossetti, who is a beloved character, that people just love to see Mr. Rossetti in games, you could have done something cool where he was coming up out of the ground rather than standing there. We barely ever see Mr. Rossetti in that stance. How many people can honestly say that they've seen Mr. Rossetti's legs? I mean, I can, because of New Leaf, but there's a lot of people that don't even know that you could see him in New Leaf in that function and that matter. Most of the times, he's popping up out of the ground yelling at us. So the fact that we get an Amiibo that's just him standing there made no sense. You have Blathers that could have done something cool, like having fossils in his hand, like he was examining fossils. Or he could have had a fish tank in his hand, a mini fish tank of something that you just gave him. There were so many cool looking things that they could have done with the Amiibo for Animal Crossing that they didn't do. They dropped the ball wholeheartedly with that. Even the cards, 400 cards in the entire collection, the entire series, and they were just bland. There's nothing to them. I mean, look at them. There's nothing really to them. Now, don't get me wrong. I collected every single one. I have every single card. But I only did it because the collector inside of me was screaming to go keep going. But, like, there's really nothing to them. They're just bland. And so when you look at these things and you go, this is the best that Animal Crossing gets, why? Why? When you get consoles that look like this, right? And this console is gorgeous. Let's make no bones about it. This console is gorgeous. We get consoles that look like that and Amiibo that are just bland. And I feel like that is a dropped ball all day, every day. And I feel like that was a big part of why Nintendo Amiibo didn't do, or Animal Crossing Amiibo didn't do as well. The one thing that is on the fence for me and I'm curious about, so we already know that there is no cloud saving when it comes to Animal Crossing New Horizons. We know this because Nintendo wants to avoid cheating, per se. And that being said, I get that, but I wonder how that affects the ability to use the Switch Lite as a secondary console. So Doug Bowser came out last week and basically explained that, like, let's say that I was playing my Switch at home and I have it docked, and then I'm going to go to my mom's house and I go, you know what, I'm going to just grab my Switch Lite and take it. As long as both consoles are plugged in to the main user, to the main profile holder, the one that has the Nintendo ID, because of Cloud Save, you can kind of pick up where you left off and continue a game. But I wonder how that works with Animal Crossing New Horizons, and if it is going to work or not. And God, I hope it does work, because that would be a home run for Nintendo. If I could literally play my game here and not have to pull it out of the dock ever. If I can have a Switch Lite and never pull it out of the dock and continue to play Animal Crossing in the living room or here with two different consoles, or I could keep one in the bedroom and I wake up and maybe I want to catch a couple fish in the middle of the night, or maybe I'm having trouble sleeping, I wake up and I want to play something real quick. I don't want to come back here and turn all this on in order to play, but if I could play from my bedroom and play the same game in the same spot, be a win, be a huge win. So I think that having Nintendo release the Switch Lite, all along I kept saying, like, I felt like this console was going to be, and at the time it was the Switch Mini, but that we're beyond that now, and we are now on the Switch Lite, and I felt like then and now that it was the perfect game to launch this thing with. Now they've chosen to do it all by itself, separately, going into the holiday season, which is good. I don't have a problem with that, but they kind of showed their hand. When they showed the Pokemon Special Edition, it immediately threw my mind to something that was going to be fantastic, and I just started to say, like, this just makes sense overall, and I'm very happy that we are getting a Switch Lite. Hopefully we get the special editions, doesn't matter to me, but I love the idea of a Switch Lite and be able to play Animal Crossing on the go, because the one thing I loved about Animal Crossing was the ability to take it on the go. It was so fun to be able to get up, leave, go someplace, and then come home. But I always wanted to plug my 3DS into the TV, but I couldn't, and now I can, and that's exciting. So I want to know this. Are you guys planning on buying a Switch Lite? Are you excited about the Switch Lite? Do you think we're going to get a special edition Switch, and what do you think it'll look like? Are you excited for the opportunity to play Animal Crossing New Horizons on the go? And I want to know this. Are you predominantly a home console gamer or a mobile gamer, like a handheld gamer? Which was your favorite version of Animal Crossing? A lot of questions, so you guys can just barrage the comment section with all kinds of questions, answers, all that stuff. But that is all. Thank you guys for watching today's episode of Breaking Bells. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please slap the like button down below. Share it with all your friends. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. Follow me Instagram, Twitter, @Nintendo Gurus. That is all. Peace out, Preston.